Welcome back to Jolly Good Fellows. Joined as always by my man here, Patrick May. I'm Jared Hallis. We're excited to talk today about some Georgia Tech football, some offensive coordinator searching, some coaches stuff, some Pop-Tart stuff, and yeah, just dive into all the latest happenings with you guys. Patrick, how you doing, man? I know it's been a little over a week since we last recorded, right? Since we did the emergency podcast.
Yeah, I want to say we did that last Wednesday when we heard the news about Buster leaving. Not too much news since then, except for obviously getting our bid to go down to Orlando to play the BYU, the Big 12 runners-up, in the Pop-Tart Bowl. So excited about that. We get one more shot at 10 wins, and we still have heard some pretty big names here on the coaching trail about the OC job. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things happening right now. I mean, I think if you're Georgia Tech, getting the Pop-Tarts Bowl is a definite win for the Jackets as far as the postseason goes. You know, if you didn't make the playoffs, Pop-Tarts Bowl is one of the more desirable, destinations that you have left at that point. And, a little side note here. It's funny. I was joking with my dad on the way up to the Pittsburgh game. I was like, well, we win this, completely different conversation than if we lose it. If we lose it, we'll probably be talking about the Pop-Tarts Bowl on the drive back home. Sure enough, here we are, almost a month later, and we're playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, well, it's better than, I guess, the Birmingham Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl.
Amen.
Yeah, and we're playing a good team. BYU is really good. They're 11-2. They were a play away from the playoff too. So they literally, if they would have beaten Texas Tech, which they kind of got their stomped in both times they played them, but they're close, and it's going to be a challenge, man. Those guys are big, they're physical, and they play hard for that coach. So it's going to be a really tough game. I mean, I kind of wish we played Missouri. I think that's an easier team to beat, but because I think BYU's tough.
Yeah, selfishly, I was hoping for the Gator Bowl for proximity reasons, but I mean, Orlando's not too bad either. I think Georgia Tech fans should have no problem making that more of a yellow. Gosh, I'm going to get crucified for that. A white and gold crowd. Sorry, I'm a Steelers fan too, black and yellow. But a white and gold crowd, down there in Orlando, more so than BYU folks. But still, yeah, like you said, definitely excited for that pick. I just saw an article where it said that BYU, that Pop-Tarts Bowl officials were pretty excited about that matchup as well. Feeling blessed is what the article said. So we're feeling blessed as well to be going to that game. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a great matchup. BYU is a tough football team, and you win that game, not only do you feel good about getting to 10 wins, but you just feel like you kind of validated the record in a sense, because it would definitely be, I think, the best win that you've gotten all year.
Yeah, it'd definitely be the best one that you've had all year. BYU, no matter what, will be ranked. If Tech loses this game, they're probably not going to be ranked. It's a huge deal to finish this season ranked. I mean, probably not even ranked, but probably like number 17 or 18, maybe up closer to 15. So it's a really big deal. You don't want to go in losing your last 3 games and you're 4 of your 5, and almost just there's a lot of things on the line. Like going into next year, you really want to go in and say, hey, a team that won 10 games, come back next year. So I think that Tech better be motivated, and they've got to come out really strong. Because I think BYU, I don't know what their bowl record is, but somebody was telling me it's really good the last several years. And under Kalani Sitake, I don't know if they've lost a bowl game. So
wow.
Don't quote me on that, but I do know for a fact it's really good.
Yeah, it's the People's National Championship is what the Pop-Tarts Bowl folks say it is, and I would agree. I mean, it's always a fun game. It feels like no matter who's playing in it. Who was it last year? Was it Kansas State that won it last year?
I think it was Iowa State and Miami last year because they put Cam Ward in for a half, I think.
You're right. You're right.
They put it to let him break the record, and then they took him out and they lost the game. So
yeah,
I don't think Haynes King will be just going in for a half unless they drag him out in the second half. So we don't have anything to worry about that, Tech fans.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be up enough to take Haynes out at halftime. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't necessarily foresee that happening, but yeah, BYU obviously a tough opponent. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys down there on the 27th. Tickets aren't looking too bad. I've had a chance to look a little bit, and it doesn't seem like they're too steep. And again, it's close proximity for most Atlanta-based Tech fans, so expecting to see a lot of white and gold there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Tech fans probably in the Orlando area too. There's a lot of Fortune 500 companies down there, so I bet Tech will have a good showing. And, also, I just really like bowl season. I was telling Jared this. I was going to give a shot. Kind of going off the script here. I know a lot of people, bowl games aren't popular right now. But, man, to me, they're really popular. Like, I cannot wait for it to be December 23rd. I'm working from home, and you have, like, Western Michigan playing, like, Toledo on your TV, or Toledo playing, like, Old Dominion. And, there's at 1 o'clock or 11 a.m. you get to watch that. I wish there were more bowl games. There's not enough. Like I wish they started at 6 a.m. because bowl games are great. Like people stop saying that bowls are meaningless. They're not meaningless to me, and they make this Christmas time a lot better. Getting to sit home at 11 a.m. You're working from home. You have nothing going on at work, but you do get to go watch Old Dominion in Kennesaw State or Kennesaw State playing Western Michigan right now, whatever bowl game there is. So if there's people are like, there's too many now. There's not enough. Bowl games are great. I never want to get rid of the bowl games. So that's just I'm very passionate about that. I'm not passionate about a lot of things, but the meaningfulness of bowl games, I think, can't be understated. So I don't want to hear any more nonsense about bowl games are meaningless.
I agree, honestly. I mean, I always have a good time watching them as well. And I'm just going to be honest. I was pretty close to shedding a tear at the end of the Gasparilla Bowl when it just felt like Tech had gotten over the mountaintop a little bit. And again, I'm probably going to get cooked for saying that too because we beat UCF in the Gasparilla Bowl. We reached the pinnacle of the mountain. That's certainly not what I'm trying to say. But after all that the team had gone through and all that the program,
you never thought we were going to win a bowl game again.
Seriously.
I mean, based on the previous several years, that was a huge deal. I remember I was really into that game. That was exciting.
I think what it is, Patrick, I feel like it's kind of the loud minority that feels like, maybe not that, but you got to be a football purist to enjoy, like you said, watching Western Michigan versus Kennesaw State at noon on a Tuesday. But that's what makes bowl season so much fun. If you can just learn to lean in and embrace that, then it really is a good time. And it gives you an opportunity to play some teams that you might otherwise not get to play.
Yeah, I mean, Tech hasn't gotten to play BYU. We got to play them and got killed by them. The last 2 times we played them, they beat us badly. So I'm not saying I hope it's not a rerun of that, but we don't get to play BYU that often. These other teams don't get to play like these random matchups that often. And think about this: when it's May or it's June and all that's on TV is like regular season baseball, you guys will be wishing for the days that you were sitting watching the Gasparilla Bowl on a cold Tuesday at home. So
yeah, 100%.
I think that let's just not take bowl games for granted because I think that they're a lot of fun and there's always crazy endings too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, my only memory from us playing BYU was Jamal Golden that returned a kickoff for a touchdown.
Yeah, the first time when we played him in 12, we didn't even get an offensive touchdown.
Yeah,
I think Isaiah Johnson had
10 or something like that.
I think it was 41-17, and Isaiah Johnson had a pick six, and
we're gonna look it up now.
Jamal Golden had a kick return for a touchdown. That was the first one since 1998 when Jamal Golden.
How did you know that, man?
Dude, I got an issue, man. I don't know.
How did you know that? I thought 42-10 for some reason, but you're right. 41-17 was the final that day, and I'm gonna check you too on Isaiah Johnson there.
I'm pretty sure he had a pick six, and because we didn't our offense was awful that day. I don't like Paul got. I think they had that really good defensive end BYU. He might still play in the league, honestly, like Kyle Van something, but he wrecked us that game.
Dang, I can't see. It's not giving me the full scoring breakdown of who did what. But I'm inclined to just believe you.
I'll see if I see it anywhere.
Jamal Golden, and then where's the other one? Okay, that's not it.
Yeah, the first touchdown was a interception for a touchdown, pick six.
But it doesn't say who it was. We're just gonna assume that you were right on that one. But
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Isaiah Johnson, and then Jamal Golden went because that was when he did back to back because he did against Carolina, right? A couple weeks later.
Yep. Yeah, both at home too. That was fun. But yeah, let's turn the page on that because there's obviously a bigger thing, I guess more of an immediate thing going on right now. Still 16 days out from the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And by that time, I think if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you would hope that you're getting a new offensive coordinator for Christmas by then. And it's gonna be interesting to see if that timeline does happen because Britt Key says he's got 36 guys that he's considering for this job. Dude, I mean,
are you one of them, Jared?
I mean, we joked on the emergency show that we did that Patrick should be a contender for this.
I might be on that list. If the list was 38, then I think I would definitely be on it.
Might be a shoe-in at that point. Yeah, 36 guys, man, that's insane. I mean, there's two guys that have kind of taken all the headlines, and we'll get to those guys. We're going to talk about them in detail, here on the rest of this show. But 36, man, I mean, surely not all 36 of those folks are being given like equal consideration, but it's just like, hey, here's the extremely long list of guys that I would consider, but there's a group of other guys, that are part of that 36 that I really actually want to hire. Do you think that's what it is, or?
I think you probably have like a binder as a coach of, hey, if this happens and Buster leaves or Blake Gideon, you have to do something to one of your coaches. You probably have a group of guys in your head that you say, I want to go maybe even talk to these guys or just go check in on them and see what they're doing. So I'm sure Brent had that. And then he probably had his like, hey, his really top guys that he said, hey, if something does happen, I want to get these guys on a plane to Atlanta, or I want to get on a call with them ASAP. Because I'm sure that he did conduct several Zoom interviews with a lot of these guys. And I know, as we're about to talk about, a couple of guys have been confirmed to be in Atlanta the last couple of days.
100%. Yeah, let's just get into it, man. Those two guys that really couldn't be more different, at least in regards to their resumes at this point in time. But both pretty dang qualified, if you ask me. If we ended up with either of these two guys, I would be pretty excited as a Georgia Tech fan. First things first, Chip Kelly is I think the probably bigger name of the two. Obviously, he's got all the experience in the world. Cory Dennis being the other one, just finished up his first year as an offensive coordinator. So again, talk about a guy who's been an NFL head coach for multiple teams, and then a guy who literally just finished up his first offensive coordinator stint at UNLV. We couldn't be on further ends of the spectrum here, but I think folks, again, are probably equally excited about the two. How do you feel about both of those names just before we get into them?
Yeah, they're just completely different. You look at Chip Kelly, the guy coached Oregon in a national title. He coached Ohio State in the national title, won it last year with them as their OC before he went to Oakland. And he's had, coached for the Niners and the Eagles, and then he had a great run at Oregon. And he did really well at UCLA, in my opinion. He turned them around. He won 9 games or something his last year there. So he's 62, so I don't think that he's a long-term fix at the position. I think that you have him come in for a year, coach Philo, coach those guys up, and really try and make a run. I mean, I don't think that anybody would expect him to come and spend the next 5 years at Tech. Now, with Cory Dennis, a younger guy who only has 1 year play calling experience, but you look at it of who he's coaching under. He's coaching under Dan Mullen right now, and then you look at who he was coaching under at Ohio State, Urban Meyer.
And his pops, his pops.
Yeah, exactly, who's his father-in-law. So maybe Urban Meyer could come on as an analyst now if we get him. But absolutely. I think that that's a really good resume. Like people say, oh, if he wasn't a Tech guy, would we look into him? I don't know. I mean, I think that the quarterback coach at Ohio State probably gets looked at by a lot of people to be an OC at a Power 5 position. You look, he coached Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins. I don't know
he was Joe Burrow.
CJ.
He was either he might have been doing.
He was at there.
But even Burrow has complimented. I read it, when his name was first getting floated. I read that even Joe Burrow was a guy who's complimenting Cory Dennis's work ethic. I mean, that's definitely a guy that you want to have around for just for that reason. On top of the ones you already said.
Exactly. And if you're under Dan Mullen right now, like Dan Mullen's an offensive, he's one of the best offensive coaches in the game, and he's letting Cory Dennis call plays for him. So I think that speaks a lot. And he's a young guy. I think he's 2 or 3 years older than I am.
Let's find out, man. Take a guess.
I'm going to say he's 32 or 3, probably 33.
Lock one of those in.
I'm going 33.
50-50. You're
33.
Exactly right. Shocker. All right. Well, yeah. Let's before we dive too much into Dennis, let's just talk more about Chip Kelly, because honestly, I think he's probably kind of more of a long shot. He's interviewing for some other jobs as well. I saw, some SEC and Big Ten openings were also some things that he was potentially a candidate for. So not to say that if you're a Tech fan, you shouldn't look at this as a realistic possibility, because I think that it is. But he's not the only candidate at the end of the day. And he's probably, in my opinion, would be the better hire for short term, just because his resume, it's a great, I think, reputation hire for Georgia Tech. And I think if you're Brent Key, you're pretty, everybody's bummed out that Buster left, and kind of some doomsday folks came out of the woodworks thinking that the sky was falling and stuff like that. But I feel like this would be a splash hire that potentially would get some of those folks back on board. What do you think about that?
I think it does make a huge statement about your program if you lose your offensive coordinator and you go grab the OC from the defending national champions in 2024.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a big statement. again, I don't know how long that Chip would be able to stay at Tech. I mean, he's 62. I don't know. And he's getting paid pretty handsomely still from his short run with the Raiders. I think he had a rather large buyout when they let him go a couple of weeks ago. But I think it's short term. I think that he can coach offense. He's one of the great, he really invented that Oregon high speed, spread it out offense that they ran with like Dennis Dixon and Darren Thomas and all those running backs that they had back in the day. So I think it's a great hire. It'd be a splash hire for sure. And I think I think some of the people that are all doom and gloom about Buster leaving, I think it gets them on board a little bit more than maybe Cory Dennis does.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about his numbers all the way back at Oregon. And this guy's been someone who's been coaching offenses since before I was born. So he's got a world of experience, 30-plus years of experience as a football coach. Anybody who's been doing something for that long knows what they're doing. And obviously the NFL stuff hasn't worked out as good as the college level things have. But, hey, guys, Georgia Tech's not an NFL program, so I think it would be just fine. Led the Pac-10 in scoring in his first Pac-10, by the way, all the way back then in 09. Or I'm sorry, 07 was his first year at Oregon as OC. He became head coach in 09, OC in 07, and they were the top offense in the Pac-10 at that time in scoring offense and in yards per game. So immediate impact there, and I think you'd hope that he would have the same kind of impact at Tech. And again, as a side note, a lot of folks are down on him because of his NFL stints, most recently with the Raiders. But, I mean, come on. I'm a friend.
He made the playoffs one year, though, in the NFL.
I'm a friend of a Raiders fan. I watch Raiders football games. I think they could have whoever they wanted as an offensive coordinator, and it probably wouldn't make that big of a difference. It's weird. It's almost like, everyone should be on a pretty level playing field in the NFL. It truly feels like they're at a talent disadvantage in a lot of the games that they play.
Yeah, they're not. That's a pretty poorly run organization. I don't know how many times
Even
they've been to the
Brady
playoffs.
In the mix now. They even have Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
Brady's in the mix. I guess under Gruden, maybe they had one good year. I don't know. No one is doing. The Raiders is clearly they've had some issues that run a little deeper than just the offensive coordinator because they've been running through head coaches, assistant coaches, quarterbacks. So I guess. Yeah. 100%. I wouldn't worry too much about somebody's results with the Oakland Raiders, or the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a lot of folks, Patrick, are potentially worried about, and you kind of alluded to it as well, his longevity, whether that's his longevity just as a coach or his longevity as the offensive coordinator, if he would end up accepting that position at Georgia Tech. And I've seen some different arguments on this. Before I get into those, I'm curious just your thoughts on that. Is it just a short-term vision, or do you think that there's any chance at all you could keep Chip Kelly for the long haul?
Gosh, I would say at max you'd probably get him 2 years.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it's probably a one-and-done situation. I'm just being honest. And I think that just depends on what, that's why they pay Brent the money they do. Do you think you can come in and win an ACC title with an offensive guy like Chip Kelly? Then, all right, let's bring him in. Let's get him in here. Get Philo, see if that attracts some big-time recruits, some big-time transfers that, hey, want to come play for a guy that's won national titles as a coordinator, coached him as a head coach, been in the NFL, knows what it takes. I think that's going to be really appealing to a lot of offensive guys in the portal who we probably have to go out and get. And so that's really what you have to weigh. Are we sure if it's a one-and-done deal, are you really going to be able to go out and win an ACC title or compete for one?
And honestly, too, it's kind of a two-headed thing because on one hand, if you keep him for the long haul, it probably means that he's not been doing good enough to be. And I hate to say this because I want to consider Georgia Tech a big, good job. But I mean, clearly this is a guy who's got interest in the NFL. He's got interest in, he left UCLA as a head coach to be offensive coordinator at Ohio State. So he's attracted to the quote-unquote bigger brands. And I feel like if that were to happen, all that really says, in my opinion, is that we had a really good season with him at the helm, and you're turning into more of a quote-unquote big boy program. Because when you look at the Ohio States and the Alabamas and the like of the college football world, those folks are replacing coordinators all the time. So, I mean, it's just going to happen.
Go look at all the different coordinators in the playoff right now. That Oregon's replacing both their OC and their DC. in the playoff. It's going to happen. If you're having success as a program, your coordinators are going to get poached and they're going to go to other places. So I think of it as a good thing. I don't think anybody was knocking on the door to come get Dave Patnude whenever he was the offensive coordinator. I don't think anybody was knocking on the door for Andrew Thacker. Really nice guys, but no one was really, like, they could have stayed here. They were locked in stone. You knew in the offseason no one was coming to get those guys. So I don't think we had to worry about it.
No,
so
you're exactly right.
It's a good position to be in. If we go get a coordinator, and even if they're only here a year or two, that means that we saw success.
Yep, for sure. I do think, though, that there is a counter argument to that to be made for a guy like Cory Dennis, and we can go ahead and start talking more about him now. Obviously, again, a young, up-and-coming kind of guy. We've talked a little bit about his resume, his stint at Ohio State. I think he started there as an intern, ended up working his way up to a GA role before doing quality control and eventually being their quarterbacks coach. Went to Tulsa for a little bit and then is finished up his last season right now as UNLV's offensive coordinator. And they've been really, really good, Patrick. But as far as longevity goes, that's a guy, in my opinion, who you could potentially keep around for 3, 4, 5+ years if things work out well.
You're definitely right, because you look, his wife went to Georgia Tech, played volleyball at Georgia Tech, Urban Meyer's daughter. So Cory obviously was a receiver here under Paul Johnson. So I think it's definitely a move that, him and his family would be happy with to settle down here for several years. And you'd have to think it'd take, if we see success now, that it would be a little bit harder for him to leave and go somewhere else. I don't think that he would just jump for maybe another court. Maybe it'd be a head coaching job that he would want to leave to go for. Maybe if Brent ends up leaving somewhere down the line, you have a guy like Cory Dennis that's been coaching. There's a lot more options. I think I agree with you having a guy like Cory Dennis, because I think that this would be a huge step up for him, and I think that he'd be fired up. I mean, again, only being 33 years old, like he's got a lot of time left to kind of hone in his coaching skills.
Yeah, he's a young candidate and someone that a lot of people I think are already starting to look at, whether that's for Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator role or potentially some other ones that open up in the coming years. But I mean, you mentioned a good point, and something that a lot of Georgia Tech fans like to talk about is him being a Tech man, and a lot of folks kind of give that a negative connotation as it relates to hiring a Tech man as a coach, because some folks feel as if it's like a cop-out, that we don't do our research and we just are like, this guy would probably have some loyalty to Tech. He went here, so let's just give that guy a shot. I don't know if that's the case for Cory Dennis. Let's look at the numbers real quick, and you tell me if you think he'd be in consideration regardless of where he went to college at. Top 15 in the country, Patrick, for UNLV in points per game, yards per game, points per play, yards per play, third down conversion percentage, and Georgia Tech fans will love this one, red zone scoring percentage. They were actually top 5 in red zone scoring percentage. So
I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean, top 15 in all those categories, that's pretty dang strong.
Yeah, on a team that was good, UNLV was good. They went 10-3 this year in Dan Mullen's first year. He called the plays. Like, they were a pretty good team. Like, that's – and also – he's coaching under a guy like Dan Mullen, and he was at Ohio State, and just looking at the quarterback production, looking at the offensive production that he's had every stop that he's been, I don't think Dan Mullen's going to make a bad choice on who his play caller is going to be. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I just feel like that resume, again, no matter where he went to college at, is worth a look, no matter what.
You looked at the guy that I think a lot of Tech fans wanted, the guy from ECU, and his name's he went to Ole Miss. I forget what his name is. But
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, he didn't have that much different numbers than that guy did. I know he had been at Ole Miss as the co-OC before, but Cory Dennis has been at a Power 5 job too before at Ohio State. So I don't think it's just a Tech man. I mean, and granted, I think that helps in some situations. If the guy is successful, then that's why, and they went to your school, then you would want them to come back home and coach for you. I don't understand why that. It's not like we're just going out and picking some random guy because he has a Georgia Institute of Technology degree.
100%.
He went and had success. That's why we're interested. It just makes him more compelling because he did go to Georgia Tech, and he might want to come back home and coach his alma mater. I think that's it. I think that it's a way overblown by a few of the Tech fans out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, if we weren't hiring Tech men, then we wouldn't have Brent Key. So, there's pros and cons to it for sure. I think that a pro is, if it does work out, like we've been saying, you get a young offensive coordinator who is probably going to have some loyalty to your program for many years to come, and someone who's been on an upward trajectory now for almost a decade, really throughout his college football coaching career. So those are kind of the main two guys, Patrick, that have been floated around so far. Both of them have been confirmed to be on campus for interviews in the last couple of days. Be interesting to see what other names, if any, come out in the days to come. Is there anybody on your mind that you think we could see get an interview?
I'm interested to see if we end up giving Winky an interview. Again, I don't know anything really about if he even wants to call plays. I know he's really happy being Tech's quarterbacks coach. So if we see Chris Winky get an interview, I know our receivers coach McKnight was the OC at Georgia State before he came over here. That'd be a little bit more of a long shot, but he's called plays before. And I think, just thinking in my head, those would be the two guys on staff. I don't think that Brian Bohannon would get a look at OC. Those would be two guys potentially that are on staff right now that might get interviews, or they might have already gotten interviews. I think wouldn't probably get leaked as much just because they're always in the buildings down on the flats anyway. I don't think that'd be a surprise.
That would be
people.
a good tweet, Patrick. Someone tweet out, "Hey, just saw Chris Winky on campus."
Yeah, I might do that after this. Those guys are probably going to get a look, and there might be some other guys that are kind of hush hush but right now it does seem like the two leaders in the clubhouse are. Chip, I was about to say Chip Long. That's our old OC.
That's our old guy. Yeah, Chip Long, man.
Chip. Chip's my guy. He's one of my buddies. So I will. But Chip, Chip, and then Cory Dennis. So those two guys. But it's fun. I'll text Chip and say, hey man, just so you know, you're on the OC
podcast. What's he up to these days, Patrick? What's he doing?
I think that he is not coaching. He was coaching at Southern Miss a couple of years ago, and then maybe he's about to get back into it. There's a lot of jobs open, so I'm sure that he might want to get back into it. I'll just shoot him a text here and see.
I mean, with 36 candidates, you never know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe there's another Chip in the fold here. But yeah, those are the main guys, and I agree with you. I mean, I think if you're looking at guys on staff, you're looking at those two, Trent McKnight and Chris Winky. But I think the two that we kind of went into detail on would definitely be more of a quote unquote splash hire, and someone who I think if you're not excited about either of those two guys, I don't know what else you really could.
Yeah, you just want to be negative. You don't. Yeah. I don't think you would have been excited about if we would bring on Urban Meyer to the staff right now.
It's pretty exciting too to think about, Patrick, because despite it being a long list, and surely there's a couple other good names in that 36-man list that we don't know about or we've not gotten intelligence about yet, that are also probably of the caliber of these two guys that we've been talking about. So I mean, I feel like with the two options that we've discussed, and then assuming there's a couple more that we don't know about, Georgia Tech's gonna hire a pretty good offensive coordinator. I think it's gonna be someone we should be excited about.
I think so too. I mean, and look, if we knock on wood, keep some of the key pieces we have on offense, it's a situation that they're going to want to come into, a team that won 9-10 games, probably go into next season with some hype. So
I'm getting cooked for saying that online right now, man. I get comments every single day on the video that I posted a week ago talking about Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator position being one of the most attractive in the college football world right now, and I'm gonna stand on that. I'm going to stand on that right now. Because it is. It is.
It is. Sorry, Florida fans. I know that you're really upset at us from last week's podcast, our emergency podcast. I mean, my God, I was getting blown up for days on Twitter by you guys. I hope you do well. I know you don't have much going on this bowl season, so you'll be fine to go just look at Georgia Tech podcast on Twitter.
Hey, by the way, we weren't the only ones that called it lateral. So y'all got some research to do, and honestly, just go consume it.
Yeah, and what do you expect? You're coming into a Georgia Tech podcast where do you think that we're going to – no, we're not.
Especially when you went 4-8. I mean,
you went 4-8.
2009, y'all. It's just not.
Yeah, Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier, I don't think just accepted the head coaching position there. Unless – and I know you're still upset you didn't get your guy in Kiffin, so you had to settle for John Summerall. So – look,
honestly,
you guys, I'm still going to root for you guys against Georgia, but now after this whole episode, the last week on Twitter, you guys, I hope you go 1-11 next year and beat Georgia. That's it.
That would be pretty insane. I feel like better days are ahead from them, though. I really do.
Yeah, they will. But you did have a good hire. Y'all are going to be better. Summerall's a good hire too. I do 100%. I hope you're actually pretty competitive next year. I don't want to make the playoff. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
Look,
either. Prior to this whole thing, I had zero beef with Florida whatsoever.
I know. I kind of liked you. I kind of liked you guys.
Yeah,
I still hope you do well. I'm just kidding. But
I don't give a rip. It's all in good fun. I mean, we're all here because we're passionate about college football.
yeah,
You guys are very passionate, but we're passionate as well, and that's why we had that discussion in the first place. But yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time to be a Tech fan. One other thing that has been confirmed, I think, not by the school, but by a lot of people, who are in the know, is that we're getting a guy back from Appalachian State to coach the offensive line.
Is that confirmed?
It's all but confirmed. Again, it's not yet confirmed by the school, but I would say that it's close to being done. And if so, we are probably Florida to Appalachian State, because that have been two offensive line coaches that we poached from them in the last 3 years.
I guess we didn't touch on Jeep leaving since the last time we talked, did we?
No, I mean, without going into detail, it's not that surprising. When offensive coordinators leave, you're going to see attrition in other places. It just happened, and Jeep was the first domino to fall. A lot of people would also consider Nebraska a lateral move. God forbid we end up on that side of Twitter, because those folks
Nebraska, I guarantee you,
those folks got nothing else to do but to talk about us.
Yeah, man.
If we end up on that side.
If they get 90,000 people at a volleyball game, they're definitely going to be all into a podcast talking about the offensive line coach that they poached from us.
And I got respect for them. I got respect for Nebraska, because they've had a rough go of it for the last many years, it feels like, and it's just a sellout after sellout, it seems, at that place. So props to you guys. Y'all are great fans. I hope Jeep does a good job for y'all. Really, I mean, wish nothing but the best for him. No hard feelings whatsoever. And if there's a position coach you wanted to go with Brent Key as your head coach, I think it's probably the offensive line.
Yeah, and I think that Brent's probably a guy that has a high standards for his offensive line. And the last couple games of the season, I don't think the offensive line played very well for Tech. And I think Jeep did a pretty good job kind of getting it steady after coming in after kind of the disaster of the Collins era, getting depth, building pieces there. So I think Jeep did a fine enough job. I'm not really worried Brent is going to have a very high standard for whoever he gets as the O-line coach. So I'm not even going to be concerned about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say this and say it too seriously, because I think it would kind of be sipping some gold Kool-Aid a little bit if I said this, but there is kind of a sense right now that Georgia Tech offensive staff could upgrade in the coming weeks if they make the right decisions. And obviously the verdict will be out on that until we see, the games being played next year. But at least from a perception standpoint, at worst, I feel like we could be just as good or in as good of hands as we were, a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that the staff, the financial backing of the staff is going to be really high. So I think it's going to be I think they're going to be a good hire regardless. So we got to trust Brent to do his thing, and hopefully we keep some pieces in place, man. And then we'll probably preview BYU a little bit more in the next week or two. But other than that, Jared, you got anything else on our OCs?
No. I mean, I think that's pretty much all we had for today. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. I would expect we'll probably end up doing some emergency shows, just because, assuming some hires are announced or are made, then, we'll want to be on that. So expect some more from us in the coming weeks. It's an exciting time to be a Tech fan, as it has been, for the last few months. I feel like the vibe has been doom and gloom, and, in a way I've felt that myself, but now it kind of feels like the clouds are parting and the sunshine is starting to come through, and hopefully the team will be able to get us a win to really feel that in these next few weeks.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about basketball today, guys.
We're not going to.
And we're not going to. So that's all good.
This is a positive podcast today.
Yeah, we're in a good mood.
We're all good things. Hey, but a win over Monmouth, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that was a big one. I don't know.
Big W for Damon.
We'll play Marist on Tuesday, but that's all I know.
Haynes King, by the way, being honored at that game. So if you've been looking for an excuse to go to a Georgia Tech basketball game, there it is. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Probably the level of reception or close to it in a basketball stadium that he got at senior night against Pitt at Tech, which was so cool, by the way. But, that's all we really got for today. I'm sorry for looking, sounding, and feeling like garbage on this show. It's been a rough day for the kid. But I'm glad we got to come on here and talk some ball. Yeah, we pulled through, and I had a good time, man. I hope you all enjoyed listening. Patrick, if there's anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, that's it, guys. We'll be previewing the BYU game here coming up. Any more portal news, coaching news, we'll have it all here. We can always hop on and go live. But appreciate all you guys tuning in. Appreciate all the fan bases tuning in, apparently. So well, until next time, guys.
See you guys later. Thank y'all very much for watching. This is episode number 8 of Jolly Good Fellows.